If you're thinking about buying your first Airbnb property in 2025, here's something you should know. Most new hosts are using strategies from 2023 that just don't work anymore. I've been hosting since 2017, and I want to share what's actually working right now because the game has completely changed. So here's something that might surprise you. Most people think location is all about picking the hottest tourist destination or the trendiest neighborhood. But what I've learned after helping hundreds of hosts is that the best locations aren't always the obvious ones. The key is finding areas with strong demand drivers, places where people need to stay or at least really want to stay. Think about it. What brings people to your area year round? Is it hospitals, universities, corporate offices, some really popular tourist destinations, major transport hubs? The hosts who understand their demand drivers are the ones consistently making money. Now, here's something else that might surprise you. Everyone's focused on luxury amenities, but you want to know what's actually filling rooms in 2025? A solid workstation, some basic gym equipment, nothing fancy, just a bench press and some dumbbells, and a few other elements that we'll dive into later on in the video. All right, let me show you how I actually research markets using AirDNA. This is exactly what I look at. When analyzing a market, here are the three metrics that really matter. First, we're looking at actual revenue data from comparable properties. Not averages, but properties similar to what you're planning on buying. This gives you realistic expectations. Next, look at how many similar properties are hitting your minimum revenue targets. One successful property doesn't make a good market, and this is crucial. Look at year-over-year growth in both supply and demand. Are more properties entering the market than there are guests to fill them? This can predict where the market is heading long term. Now, let me show you exactly how to put this all into practice. When I'm looking at a new market, here's my exact process. First, we open up AirDNA and look at comparable properties. But here's the key. Don't just look at properties you like. You need to find properties that match what you actually could buy or renovate to. Now, let's do this together. Let's say that you're looking at a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. Filter for exactly that. Now, here's where most people mess up. They look at the top performers and think that's what they'll make. Instead, look at the middle 50% of properties. That's your realistic target. But here's the thing about data. It doesn't tell the whole story. Every market has its own unique demand drivers, and understanding these is crucial. So pull up Google Maps. Within a 15-minute drive of your target property, I want you to identify all of your demand drivers. That could be tourist attractions and seasonal events, major employers, hospitals and medical centers, universities, convention centers, transport hubs. Here's another pro tip that most people miss. Whatever market you're in, there are usually hidden opportunities. If you're in a tourist area, in the off season, maybe try looking for business travelers. If you're in a business district, check for weekend leisure travelers. The best properties often capture multiple types of guests. And here's something else that's crucial. Don't just look at what's there right now. Check the city's development plans. Are they building new attractions, planning a business park, adding transport links? These projects can take years, but they can completely change your market. Now, once you've done this research, you need to validate it. Here's my 3-step validation process. Number 1, book or reach out to 2 to 3 different Airbnb hosts in the area so you can chat with the hosts. Number 2, join local real estate and short-term rental Facebook groups. Number 3, talk to property managers in the area. They know what's really going on. One last thing about market research that most people completely miss: seasonality patterns. Every market has them, but they work differently. In a beach town, you might have summer peaks. In a ski resort, those peaks might come in the winter. In a business district, maybe it's midweek peaks. And then the key is really just understanding these patterns and building your strategy around them. Some of our most successful hosts combine different types of guests to smooth out these seasonal ups and downs. Now, let's talk about something that isn't sexy, but it's where I see most hosts that are new get into serious trouble: the legal and financial setup. Trust me, getting this right from the start will save you massive headaches down the road. First things first, let me show you the exact structure you need. When I started on my first Airbnb, I made a huge mistake. I ran everything through my personal name. Now, you'll want to consult with your lawyer ahead of time, but there are definitely some much better setups than just putting everything under your personal name. For example, you can set up an LLC, but here's what most people don't tell you. How you structure this LLC actually matters a lot. For example, if you're planning to buy multiple properties, you might want what's called a holding company structure. That way, if a guest slips and falls at one of your properties and decides to sue, they can only go after that property's LLC, not your entire business or your personal assets. This is what I call your sleep at night structure. Now, you'll also need insurance, and this is where it gets interesting. A lot of hosts think that their regular homeowner's insurance plus Airbnb's air cover is gonna be enough. Wrong. You need a home insurance policy specifically for short-term rentals. Next on the list is something equally critical that a lot of people miss: local regulations. Before you even think about buying a property, you need to do what I call a market regulation deep dive. Here's my exact process. First, city and municipal rules. Second, county regulations. And third, HOA restrictions, if that's applicable. But here's the thing, don't just read what's online. Call the city planning department. Here's exactly what you should ask them. First, are there any current restrictions on short-term rentals? Next, are there any pending regulations being discussed right now? Third, what permits and licenses do I need, if any? Fourth, are there any zoning restrictions for short-term rentals? Pro tip, get everything in writing. I've had clients who got verbal approval only to have problems later on down the road. Email is your friend here. Now, moving on to renovation and property setup, here's something that surprises a lot of new hosts. You don't need a full renovation to be successful. Some strategic upgrades can make a huge difference in your booking revenue. For example, one of our properties was struggling with bookings until we made 3 simple changes: adding outdoor lighting by the hot tub and sauna, themed a few of the bedrooms with peel and stick wallpaper, and create a dedicated workspace with a proper chair in one of the bedrooms. Our bookings jumped 40% just from these upgrades. This is mostly because we were suddenly showing up in searches for people that were looking for business-friendly places to stay. That's because of the desk. Now, let's talk about what you actually need to get started. I'm gonna break this down into must-haves and nice-to-haves because your budget matters. Must-haves are your foundations. These are things like quality beds and bedding, strong Wi-Fi all throughout the property, good lighting in every single room, basic kitchen amenities, clean, modern bathroom fixtures. And then from there, you can add on nice to haves as you go. Things like smart home features, entertainment systems, outdoor spaces, extra amenities. You definitely want to have some of these, but they're not absolute necessities. Here's another thing that most people don't think about: storage. You need space for supplies, extra linens, and cleaning equipment. And you need to think about where guests will put all of their stuff as well. Trust me, a few well-placed hooks and a proper closet setup can make a huge difference in your reviews. Next, let's talk about design strategy, because this is where you can really stand out without spending a fortune. This could be as simple as an interesting accent wall or a well-styled coffee station. The goal is to make your property memorable without breaking the bank. And this is where I see so many hosts go wrong. They either massively overspend trying to create a luxury magazine shoot, or they try to do everything on the cheap. Both can be mistakes in their own right. Let me show you what actually matters to guests. First up is what I call the first impression spots. These are the areas that guests see in their first 30 seconds. So your entrance, your living room, and your bathroom. These need to be solid. But here's the thing, solid doesn't mean expensive. For example, most hosts spend way too much on their kitchens, but you know what guests actually care about? Really good coffee setup and a fully stocked dinnerware and cookware set. That's it. They don't really care about the brand name of your blender. Now, let's talk furnishing next. Here's my 80-20 rule for where to spend your money. Invest in an incredibly comfortable bed and quality linens. These are high touch and they matter to guests. Get a couch that photographs well and feels nice and comfortable to sit on. Make sure it's durable as well. Make sure you have great lighting. This is huge for photos and for guest experience. And here's what most people miss completely: durability. So that gorgeous white couch might look amazing in photos, but how's it gonna look after 100 different guests come through? Next up is going to be setting up your systems and your tech. The key to a great setup is really automation. The less you have to physically be at the property, the better. But here's where most hosts waste money. They buy every fancy gadget out there thinking it'll make their life easier, when you really only need 3 core systems. First is a reliable smart lock system for check-in. Second is Wi-Fi that just never goes down. And third is a simple noise monitoring system to protect your property. Everything else is just extra. But let me tell you why these 3 matter so much. First, your check-in system. This is your guest's first experience with your property. If they're standing outside at 11 p.m. trying to figure out a complicated lock, guess what kind of review you're gonna end up getting. That's why we keep it simple. A keypad lock with a code that automatically changes for each guest. Next up is Wi-Fi. Here's something most hosts don't realize: bad Wi-Fi will kill your business faster than almost anything else. In 2015, people aren't just checking their email. They're working remotely, they're streaming movies, they're joining video calls. Your Wi-Fi needs to be able to handle all of that. Now, about protecting your property, you don't need expensive security systems, but you do need basic monitoring. A simple noise monitor will alert you if there are things getting too rowdy, and it protects you and your neighbors really effectively. But here's the real secret to a great setup. It's your digital guidebook. This is where you prevent 90% of your potential headaches. Your guidebook should tell guests how to use everything in the house, where to find everything they need, what to do if something goes wrong, and it should also give them some local recommendations. The key is to make it so complete that guests don't need to contact you unless there's a real, true emergency. Here's exactly how to set this up. First, take a tour of your property and write down every single thing a guest might need to know. And I mean everything, from how to work the TV to where the extra toilet paper is. Then do your best to organize it into what I call the guest journey. Think about what they need to know in what order. So what do they need to know before they arrive, when they first walk in, during their stay, when they're about to check out. Now, here's something that took me years to figure out. You want to give guests information exactly when they need it. Don't overwhelm them with everything all at once. So here's how we do it. We have a booking confirmation, just the check-in details. That's what goes out at that point. Then we got the day before message that goes out, right before they check in, detailed arrival instructions. Then we've got their check-in message, quick welcome and essential info. The first evening, we're gonna give them some local recommendations. The day before checkout, we're gonna give them their departure instructions. But here's where most hosts mess this up. They try to handle all of this manually. Don't do that. Use automation tools to send the right information at the right time. Now let's talk about maintenance, because this is crucial as well. You need 3 things for this: a reliable cleaning team, a handyman on speed dial, and a backup for both. Think about it. What happens if your cleaner gets sick on a busy weekend, or your handyman is on vacation when something breaks? You need backups for everything. The last piece of your setup is your supply system. Here's what we've learned works best. Set up automatic reordering for everything that runs out regularly. Keep a backup supply of essentials at the property at all times. And most importantly, have a system to track what needs replacing. Now that we've got your property set up right, let's talk about the part that actually makes you money: optimizing your listing. So this is where things get really interesting, because your listing is where you either make or break your business. And in 2025, the old rules just don't apply anymore. Let me show you exactly what's working right now. First up, your title. Most hosts do this all wrong. What you want to focus on is your property's unique value proposition, as well as some of the main amenities that are going to get people to want to book. So something like a peaceful 2-bed, 3-minute walk to hospital with pool, kitchen, Wi-Fi is going to perform a lot better than luxury retreat, peaceful haven, 2 minutes walk to local hospital, where really you're not communicating a lot of value. You're just focusing on one single thing. Next, let's talk about your photos, because this is where most hosts leave money on the table. Here's what actually works. Lead with your money shot, follow that up with your most in-demand amenities, show your space in the order guests will use everything, and include close-ups of features that matter to your target guests. But here's something that most people miss completely. Your photos need to tell a story. Think about your ideal guest. What do they want to see first? What will make them want to click that book button? Next up is your description. And this is where you can really stand out. Most hosts just list features. Instead, here's what I recommend doing. Open with your biggest selling point. Break up your text into scannable sections. Address your target market's specific needs. Let me give you an example. Instead of saying fully equipped kitchen, you say chef's kitchen with everything you need to cook your favorite meals. And then list out in bullet points: premium coffee maker, full-size appliances, toaster oven, blender. You get the point. And then lastly, here's where it gets really interesting: your pricing strategy. Forget about static pricing. In 2025, you need what's called dynamic pricing. This means different rates for different days of the week, of the year, whatever it might be. Adjusting your prices based on local events. It also means special rates for longer stays. But here's the key. Your pricing needs to match your listing quality. You can't charge premium rates with basic photos and a weak description. When it comes to the exact strategy, most hosts just look at what others are charging and then copy that. But here's the thing. That strategy leaves serious money on the table. Instead, you want to use data and pricing tools to ensure you aren't over or undercharging your guests. Now, implementing all of this can seem overwhelming at first. I know because I've helped hundreds of hosts to figure it out. That's exactly why I created something called B&B Tribe. Let me show you what it is. Inside B&B Tribe, you get access to our complete pricing optimization tool that does all of this for you. It helps you build out your entire pricing strategy, figure out your seasonal adjustments, and even optimize for different types of guests. But here's the thing, pricing is just one piece of the puzzle. That's why B&B Tribe includes everything you need to succeed as a host. Done for you templates for everything for your house manual to your guest messages, exclusive trainings on all aspects of short-term rental management, our listing optimization AI tool that helps you create listings that actually convert, regular live community calls where we solve real hosting challenges together. The best part, you're not figuring this out alone. You get access to our entire community of successful hosts who are there to support you every single step of the way. 2 weeks after joining, one of our members went from getting a couple bookings here and there to 3 to 5 bookings every single day. Another member is now managing 17 properties and just landed their highest value booking ever, $31,000 for just 17 nights. Look, I've been doing this since 2017 and I've put everything I've learned into B&B Tribe. Right now you can get started for just $49 per month, and it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can try it out completely risk-free. Just go to bnbmastery.com/bnb-tribe or click the link in the description down below to get started. Now, let's talk about how to optimize your guest experience next, because here's the truth. You can have the perfect location, beautiful photos, and incredible pricing, but if your guests don't have a great stay, none of that matters. Now, most hosts think the guest experience is all about fancy amenities or leaving a bottle of wine. But let me show you what actually drives 5-star reviews in 2025. It all starts before they even arrive. Here's my exact pre-check-in sequence. Booking confirmation message with a warm, personal welcome. Then we're gonna send the area guide 3 days before arrival. Next is gonna be detailed check-in instructions the day before, and then a quick check-in message to make sure they found everything. But here's what most hosts miss completely. It's the first 30 minutes of a guest stay are really, really critical. Think about when you last checked into a hotel or Airbnb. What did you wanna do first? Probably drop your bags off, use the bathroom, connect to the Wi-Fi, and start to get comfortable, right? That's why we create what I call comfort zones, areas where everything guest needs is immediately obvious and accessible. No hunting through drawers, no trying to figure out complicated TV systems, no searching for Wi-Fi passwords, none of that. Now, let's talk about something that's becoming really big in 2025, personalization. But not the obvious stuff. Here's what really actually works. Business travelers get a ready-to-go workspace that's just ready for them to sit down and work at. Families will find age-appropriate games and baby gear. Medical visitors get extra linens and blackout curtains. Weekend tourists will receive local experience guides. And here's a pro tip. Document everything. When a guest tells you that they love something about your place, add it to your system so you can repeat it down the road. When they mention something that could be better, fix it right away. But the real secret to amazing guest experience, it's what I call proactive hosting. Here's what I mean by proactive hosting. You want to solve problems before they even happen. Let me show you exactly what this would look like. So most hosts just wait for guests to contact them with issues. That's reactive hosting, and it's a recipe for average reviews. Instead, here's what we do. First, we use what I call trigger points, specific times during a stay when guests typically need something. That could be right after check-in, like did you find everything okay? The first morning, here's the best coffee shops nearby. The day before checkout, we send them clear instructions for their departure. But here's the real game changer. We track everything that goes wrong, and we build systems to prevent those issues from happening again in the future. For example, if 3 different guests struggle to work the TV, we don't just help them, we improve our instructions, maybe even get a whole new TV. We add photos. Now, here's something that surprises most hosts. Problems aren't always bad. In fact, how you handle issues often leads to your best reviews. This is because guests understand that things go wrong. What they care about is how quickly you fix them. That's why you need what I call your emergency response system. A reliable handyman who can respond quickly to any issues that come up, backup cleaning services for quick turnarounds, spare keys, door codes ready to go, extra supplies of commonly needed items. All right, let's start wrapping this up. Here's what we've covered so far. First, how to find markets with real demand drivers. We also showed you the exact legal and financial setup you need, setting your property up for success, creating a listing that actually converts, what pricing strategy you need to in order to maximize your revenue, and how to build an amazing guest experience that runs itself. Now, here's what I want you to do next. Take what you've learned and start implementing it. Even if you don't have a property yet, you can start with your market research right away. Start looking at different areas, analyzing properties, and building your plan. And look, if you want to fast track your success, I've put together all my templates, all my tools and systems inside of B&B Tribe. It's where I work directly with hosts to help them build successful short-term rental businesses. You can get started for just $49 a month, and it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Just go to bnbmastery.com/BNB-tribe, or the link is right in the description at the very top down below. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.